Hi, I'm Galel Fajardo, high performance business coach, and today we're going to talk about the 80-20 rule in marketing. Now, if you are overwhelmed right now with your marketing, it's likely because you're doing too many things. When I'm working as a business coach with my clients, one of my primary responsibilities is to help my clients focus on doing less things and focusing more on what actually moves the needle. And so today, after watching this video, you're going to have a step-by-step action plan so that you can improve your marketing and stop getting stressed out with it, okay? We're going to give you some great action steps to help you feel more in control of your marketing so you're doing what actually moves the needle. So, what the 80-20 rule actually means in your marketing is that 80% of your leads that you're currently getting right now in your business, those leads, 80% of the leads and the sales, they come from 20% of your marketing efforts. So if you were to go right now and look at how you performed last year, it's very likely that you would see this ratio of 80-20, that 80% of your sales and leads came from 20%. And so keeping this in mind, instead of just continuing to chase shiny objects and doing brand new thing after brand new thing, if you were to just double down and focus on that 20%, you would end up getting a lot greater results. So I'll give you a quick example. I've had some clients who they were doing Facebook ads to be able to promote their business. And, they're humming along, they're doing well with those Facebook ads, they're, bringing in some business. And then they come to me and say, hey, coach, you know what I want to do? I want to start exploring buying text message leads and having text messages go out and blast people messages so that we can get new clients into our business. And instead of, then they talk about, then we're going to do this with email marketing, and then we're going to go do Google ads, and we're going to go do this thing as well. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a recipe for burnout, because all you're doing is simply adding more tasks on top of more tasks. So instead, what we want to do is we want to focus on what's actually working and then improve that. So to the client who had successful Facebook ads, basically what we did was we worked 80-20, the 80-20 principle, and found that, of course, 80% of the sales came from 20% of the ads. So what we looked at was those 20% of the ads that were performing well. We optimized those to help increase the number of sales coming through, right? So you 80-20, you're 80-20. So I want you constantly thinking about this 80-20 principle when it comes to your marketing, because it's not about doing more, it's about doing more of what matters. So what we want to make sure we're doing is that we're keeping you as a business owner away from wasting time on all of these extra things. So whether it's content, it's platforms, or it's funnels that are not converting well for you, I want to make sure that you can identify what those things are, so that way it helps you get focused on what actually is working. So keeping focus on this 80-20 principle, keeping that at the forefront of your marketing as you look at your marketing reports, as you talk to your marketing consultants, talking to your coaches, making sure that you are aware of what is that 80% that drives, what is the 20% that drives those 80% results. That is going to be where you truly scale. Okay. So what I want to do is help you start looking at finding your marketing 20%, because once you can identify and double down on your highest performing actions, that's where the magic happens. Because all we need to do is just duplicate those results and get better in a smaller segment versus finding these huge winners, right? And so that's what I want to get you focused on right there. So again, 80% of your leads and your sales, they come from 20% of your marketing efforts. Now, what we want to do is look at your lead sources to start. Okay, so your lead sources are any place that you are getting inbound information from prospective clients. So I want you to look at, where did your last 10 paying clients come from? So regardless of the business that you have, you can be another business coach. Maybe you can own a podcast studio. You can own a plumbing business. You can be an electrician. You could be a real estate agent. I don't care what your business is. I want you to look and figure out, where did your last 10 paying clients come from? And based on that, that is where we're going to start looking at the 80-20 principle. because I'm willing to bet that a lot of you that have businesses are actually getting a decent number of referral businesses, right? Or a lot of business from people referring clients to you. And so you can say on a broad sense, right? If we just do 80-20, track with me here, okay? Because I'm going to get into the weeds for a second. We've got 80% of your sales that came from 20% of your leads. Let's say they were referrals. So then we zoom in further. From those clients that were referrals, who referred them? Who was the referrer? And what you're likely to find is that you have a handful of people that are actually delivering the bulk of your referrals. So then I want you to focus on those people that are giving you referrals. How can we find more of those people to be able to get you more business? What are the things that we need to do to cultivate those relationships? Now, the same thing works with Facebook ads, as I used in that previous example, where you've got somebody who's got Facebook ads is driving the majority of their business. There's likely 20% of the ads that are driving 80% of the sales. So how do we 80-20 the 80-20? How do we find those 20% performing ads and get more of those on the board? Right? And so it's working that process to look at those lead sources and see where that's coming from. So we want to figure out what channels are actually driving your conversions versus just vanity metrics, right? Like, oh yeah, we're getting a bunch of leads from this source, but is it actually converting business? So that's where we want to find where your last 10 paying clients came from. The second thing that we want to do in this process is we want to evaluate your content performance. What I mean by that is, what are the topics, what are the formats or the offers that consistently generate replies, shares, or clicks? What are those? So if you are doing content on social media, helping you figure out of your content, what is the 20% that's driving those 80% responses from people? And in that will help you figure out what topics to double down on. So for example, with my social media content, if I look at my Instagram account, and on my Instagram, which you're welcome to follow me at Galel Fajardo, when you go on there and you look at the content that performs the best, the content that performs the best is always my family. My family, first off, they're better looking than I am, so I'm not surprised. But secondly, there's an element of being a busy entrepreneur and showcasing your family and the fact that we actually really love each other. Like my family, like we get along really well. We have our moments, right? I got 2 teenagers. Life can be difficult sometimes, but by and large, man, we have an absolute blast together. And I think that just really comes across when I showcase my family and my content. Now, mind you, I've gotten their permission to show their pictures and, share silly videos of me and my daughter. But that's the stuff that people really like, because it's the type of lifestyle that a lot of people wish that they had, where they feel trapped in the office and they feel like they've built this prison, and then they see somebody out there doing it, that somebody's built a 7-figure business and is out being able to truly, genuinely enjoy life, vacation, and fun with their family. And so that's the stuff that works well for me. It's, there's a few reels that I've recorded that have performed well. There's a couple YouTube shorts that I've had that have, had some views, but by and large, it's just me with my family. And that is what performs well, because it showcases my lifestyle. It showcases what I truly value. And so for me, I just try to create more content with my family in it, because it's fun, it's easy to make, and it's enjoyable, right? And then I mix in some teaching and other stuff with the content that I create. So I want you thinking about, what is it that's generating replies, shares, or clicks? And I want you to think about, are you optimizing your content just for greater reach? Like, are you trying to just game the algorithm to try to post at a certain time so you get more reach? Or are you looking for actual results? Because there's a difference in the two of those, right? Like, I know people that have gone viral with content and it brings them very little results with regard to their outcomes. And so I want you to be specific as to what that is. Not that there's anything wrong with trying to go viral with certain content, but what is the intention that you seek with that viral content? Next, I want you to audit your offers and your funnels. So what I want you to figure out is what is converting at a high rate with minimal follow-up. So as you look at your funnels that are being used to generate leads into your business, or maybe you have people that you're generating sales through a certain funnel, what is it that's converting at a high rate for you right now? I want you to follow the 80-20 principle and find the 20% of the funnels that are working the best, right? In all the businesses that I work inside of, whether it's as a coach or as a consultant, it's always going to boil down to one or two campaigns that are functioning the best. That's the 80-20 principle at work right there. So we want to find those for you. The second thing we want to do is we want to look at what the common traits are with those offers and those funnels, right? We want to look at what's creating the most friction, right? So where is it that people are dropping off? Where is it that we're getting the most refunds from? And where is it that we're getting people ghosting us coming in through certain funnels? Because you're going to find that certain funnels or certain offers make people more receptive. And so we want to make sure we track those. We want to make sure we know which ones are bringing us the highest amount of success and double down on those efforts. Next, we want to be able to look at your messaging. Okay, so we want to look at what's the messaging or the messaging angle that you're currently taking that gets your audience to raise their hand the most. Now, what I mean by raise your hand the most is what is it that's getting people to say, yes, I want more information. So I want you to be able to look at your content, whether it's emails, whether it's ads that you're running, whether it's YouTube content that you're creating, Instagram content, I don't care what platform it is. What is it that gets people to raise their hands the most? I need you to document that because that is going to tell you something about what your audience responds to. So we got to make sure we track that. We want to know what messaging angles it is that gets people to raise their hand, because that is going to give us insight as to what we need to create more of. Right? Instead of just trying to chase another trend, I want you thinking smart and thinking about what is it that's going to get my audience to raise their hand. And then next is what's the language that drives urgency, trust, and connection, right? I want you to evaluate where is it that as you maybe run an ad that you're getting people to follow you on that, right? So if you're running a Facebook ad, you're finding a lot of people are following you. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason because of the language that you're using. Is there a way that you're exhibiting trust? Is it a certain posture that you're in that makes you look more real? Are there certain words that you use? How are you building that trust and building that connection? I think it's absolutely imperative that you look at. So checking your messaging. So to go back and looking at your marketing 20%, it's 4 things. Looking at your lead sources. 2, evaluating your content performance. 3, auditing your offers and your funnels. And 4th is check your messaging. So next, what I want to discuss with you as we start to wrap this up is where to focus on when you're overwhelmed. So we've talked about the importance of the 80-20. We've talked about how you 80-20 your 80-20. And we talk about how to find that marketing 20%. And then if you're overwhelmed, let's give you an action plan because I want to get you out of that state of overwhelm. That is what I specialize in as a coach. So number 1, stop chasing trends or new platforms until your core funnel is working. So if you're currently focused on a certain platform, I want you to stick with that platform. I don't want you chasing some shiny object. So if you've been working well, your business has been firing on all cylinders, doing great on Instagram, don't go chasing TikTok. Okay? If your business is performing well on YouTube, stop thinking that you have to go and move over to Instagram. Like, I want you to focus on what is currently working. Stop adding more to your plate simply for the sake of adding more. Okay, we want to make sure we're working smartly on this. Next, focus on your 1 or 2 highest converting platforms for your audience. So I want you to think about this, right? Where is it that your audience hangs out? Where do they live? Where are they online? And focus on 1 or 2 of those platforms first. Make sure you absolutely own it, that you're absolutely crushing it before you even consider adding another platform for yourself. Okay, so make sure you get dialed in on that. I want you to pick your top performing lead magnet. So whatever it is that you're running right now that's getting you leads, getting you opt-ins, emails, phone numbers, right? Names, emails, phone numbers. I want you to build around that, or you're an offer that's performing well, that is what your basis should be for expansion or drilling down, is what is performing well. That is where we focus on. Next is we're going to make sure you build a simple follow-up system. So this can be either emails, this could be DMs, this could be text messages, a combination of all three of these things that helps deepen trust and helps drive a response from your audience. Okay. Then from there, repurpose your best content. So instead of feeling this pressure of like always having to chase that next thing, instead of like, oh, that thing performed well 3 months ago, I have to strike lightning again. Why not repurpose the same piece of content? Why not take a piece of content that performed well and go do it again? Or in this case of a YouTube video, if you had a YouTube video that performed well 6 months ago, why not recreate it again? There's nothing wrong with taking a piece that you previously did and adding a new fresh spin on it, because again, it's identifying patterns. The people that can identify patterns will always profit, right? So this is why I want to teach you that skill of pattern recognition, finding that in applying the 80-20 principle in your marketing. So that way we reduce that overwhelm to get you do less, right? Focus on what truly matters. And then lastly, the fact is you don't have to be everywhere, right? There's this notion with business owners that if you are going to start a business or you're going to have an online presence, maybe you're running an online based business, there's this feeling like you have to be everywhere. And I'm here to give you permission to tell you, you don't. You don't have to be everywhere. You can pick and choose the 1 or 2 platforms where your audience lives the most and focus on those. Get really good at those before you start adding on more. All right. So I just want to give you permission to breathe a little bit easier, that it's not about doing more, right? It's about doing less, and it's about focusing on what actually matters. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Your call to action, okay, is to simplify your marketing. That's what we want to do. We want to simplify your marketing so that you stop doing what's not working and you focus on what is working. Remember that the 80-20 rule, it's not about effort, it's about focus, right? So it's about focusing on that thing that actually matters. Now, if you want help identifying your marketing 20%, I've created a resource for you. And great thing is this resource doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is click the link down below pinned in the comments, get my 80-20 marketing audit. And in that 80-20 marketing audit, I'm going to help you by asking you a series of questions, identify what is your actual 80-20 with your marketing plan. On top of that, you can always book a call with me and we can meet for 15 minutes, discuss what you're currently doing in your business so we can help you start identifying that 80-20 in your marketing, so we get you focused on what really matters so that you can reduce that stress, reduce that overwhelm, start living the life of freedom that you want. Get on my email list at galel.com. I give free coaching on my email list, give out a lot of resources, helping people out, teaching you lessons about stuff that I'm working through with clients, stuff that's happened in my life to help you make your life easier, help you breathe easier, help you live a happier, more fulfilled life as an entrepreneur. As always, thank you so much for watching. I ask that you like this, subscribe to my channel if you found this valuable, and we'll see you again next week.